2012, when I was backpacking in Europe, I went to Pompeii in Italy. Pompeii was a 3,000-year-old civilization which was destroyed by Mount Vesuvius volcano. During its excavation and restoration of Pompeii, they came across a red light area. When I visited there, I clicked some pictures which I'd like to share with you all. These are some of the rooms with inbuilt beds in the red light area. And these are some of the paintings which are carved on the walls of the red light area. It's only after visiting Pompeii I realized that why prostitution is called the oldest profession in the world. But what troubled me and affected me the most is the profession continues to thrive even after thousands of years. Having visited these developed countries, I knew we had a lot to do to improve the lives of many in India. It's then I started looking and scouting for causes to volunteer over the weekend while I would work with DHL Express. At that point of time, I was lucky enough to have met Manju Vyas of Apne Women's Collective. And the NGO was largely into three things. One was to take out the prostitutes and give them an alternative profession. Second was to stop the generational cycle of prostitution. And third was to take the toddlers, the infants out from the brothels and give them an alternative place to stay. But the most important, the biggest program that we have is UDAN, which is to stop the intergenerational cycle of prostitution, where we go to the brothels and we get the daughters of sex workers into the NGO, where we give them education, schooling, tuitions, whatever is needed, extracurriculum activities to help them get placed in the mainstream society. But a lot of things that Manju told me during my first briefing got etched on my mind. She told me that over 5 million women and children are sexually exploited worldwide, of which 3.5 million alone live in India. Kamatipura is one of the oldest and one of the largest red light areas in Asia. 87% of sex workers are trafficked into prostitution in Kamatipura. And they're trafficked from various parts of the country and nook and corner. You look at the chart, you'd see they're trafficked from West Bengal to Haryana, Maharashtra, Andhra, Karnataka, and at times from our neighboring countries like Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, from everywhere. And the sex workers who are not trafficked come here just to escape extreme poverty, either to serve their someone in the family, take care of someone in the family, feed themselves or feed their children. I would like to share that some of the things which I was first briefed on just blew me apart. It troubled me so much. The sex workers at times get paid 20 to 50 rupees for this service. And they have to do the service multiple times during the day, and the pain they have to endure is beyond our imagination. And to manage the pain, they get addicted to alcohol or drugs. The kind of mental trauma, emotions, emotional disbalance, psychological impact, it's something we can't imagine. The daughters of these sex workers are stuck in the intergenerational cycle of prostitution because our society would not accept them. The worst off are the infants, the toddlers of these sex workers, who are at times drugged and put below the bed, where the mother would serve the customer just so that they don't make noise and they end up offending the customer. Let me ask you that why do these sex workers get into red light area? The larger perception in the society is that get into the profession just to make quick money, fast money. That is not even close to the reality. That is not, that's not something that happens. 87% of them are trafficked, like I shared, and rest of them come here to just escape poverty. And at this time of my briefing, when Manju briefed me, I realized that this was the cause that I wanted to be part in. And I started volunteering over the weekend. I started going there and teaching young girls, daughters of sex workers, computers in English over the weekends. And I'm so happy to share that the NGO has been able to pull out 550 girls from the brothels, and we have been able to place them in the mainstream society. Some of them are chefs at 5-star hotels, chartered accountants, social workers, and whatnot. Let me share with you some of the articles that got published around the issue. 27-year-old girl working in a private sector job in Calcutta got trafficked into prostitution in Delhi. A 5-year-old toddler, 4-year-old toddler got picked up from outside the house in Punjab. And there are similar stories that I come across even in Gwalior. The girls go missing. We receive a lot of messages on our WhatsApp that the girl has gone missing. What do you think happens then? And we all assume that this is something that doesn't affect us. It is a wrong preconceived notion. It impacts us as much as it impacts the downtrodden. There are several articles which got published. The one article of India Today which summarizes it very well is that thousands of girls are still stuck in slavery while the society remains silent. Let me ask you, do these words make you uncomfortable? These words made me very uncomfortable when I started working there 5 years back. I want to share with you that when I wanted to raise funds and I started applying in some of the CSR programs of DHL Express, my friends and colleagues who were super supportive of my work, but very skeptical of the idea that any organization would put money in a cause which has so much stigma associated with it, with such taboo. And some of my friends, like maybe some of you, were uncomfortable talking about it and even going to the NGO. But this uncomfortable feeling and pushing the topic under the carpet is the sole reason why it's a taboo, and that taboo does not allow discussions to happen. And when discussions don't happen, the issues don't come out. The problems, the visibility doesn't happen. And when there's no visibility, there is no funding. And when there is no funding, 4 million sex workers are stuck in the vicious cycle of prostitution because we don't discuss. There are 2 times more sex workers than the population of Gwalior. In fact, there are more sex workers under the age of 18, minors, than the population of Gwalior. There are more sex workers than the 50% population of some countries like New Zealand, Ireland, and Dubai. That is the size of the problem, looking at darkness at the end of the tunnel. It's so ironical that the sex workers exist because of the need of mainstream society, and the mainstream society turns it into a taboo. And that compounds the problem. And that taboo does not allow larger discussions and larger platforms, and they were receiving negligible support from the mainstream society. I was sharing with you that how some of my friends were so skeptical that any organization would not fund money, or would not fund the cause because there's stigma associated to it. I went about creating a video with the help of DHL Express and presented it at a CSR event organized by DHL Express in Vietnam. And I'd like to share some snippets from the video.
AAWC is an NGO or a non-profit organization working with the brothel-based prostitutes women who are majoritarily victims of human trafficking due to extreme poverty back at their homes. We provide them care and support activities to let them empowered and take the decision to get out of this profession once they are ready to do it. Also working with their daughters to prevent second-generation prostitution. The girls who are born here in brothels are highly at the risk of getting lured or forced or pushed in prostitution.
My class involves about a strength of 15 girls. A few of them are in advanced stages of Microsoft Excel and Office.
अमन सर हमें कुछ 4.5 साल से पढ़ा रहे हैं. वो हमें इंग्लिश और कंप्यूटर्स पढ़ाते हैं. उनकी क्लास बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग लगती है, अलग-अलग टाइप के, मतलब जैसे कि माइक्रोसॉफ्ट वर्ड.
And I'm so happy that a couple of my ex-students actually joined college in 2018.
ये हम लोग स्कूल से ही यहाँ आ रहे थे, तो बचपन से हम लोग के क्लासेस, मतलब हम लोग का पूरा खर्चा यहाँ पे था, फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट हम लोग को वो कर रहे थे. Now I am doing post graduation in horticulture. Side by side I am doing the social activities like short films that gives inspire to other peoples.
The problems would not be solved overnight, but AAWC has been able to pull 550 plus girls from the brothels into the mainstream society.
In last 10 years, I could say that none of our girls have gone in their mother's profession. I'm more happy to say that some of the girls, they have helped their mothers in quitting the prostitution. They have taken a house in Mumbai suburbs or Mumbai outskirts, taking care of their siblings' education.
AAWC, it's not only my class, it's my family, a second family.
I firmly believe that with additional funding and most importantly visibility, we would be able to help many girls deserving a chance to change their lives. We raised about 20 lakh rupees at this event in Vietnam in April 2019. We've been able to raise about 40 lakh rupees from DHL alone in last 5 years. There was an article that got published by Hindu on this. When we just share the realities, when we just share the truth, then people listen, they blink, they show compassion, and that's when the change begins. With over 5 years of experience at Kamatipura, I firmly believe that the lives of these sex workers can only improve when we just start talking about them, when we just start a conversation. We've started to do our bit by improving the lives of these sex workers. I want to ask you, would you want to be part of this change? By just simply starting a conversation, just a conversation. Thank you.